Sir Keir Starmer has said he is ready and willing to put UK troops on the ground in Ukraine to help guarantee its security as part of a peace deal. The UK Prime Minister said securing a lasting peace in Ukraine was essential to deter Putin from further aggression in the future. Before attending an emergency meeting with European leaders in Paris today, Sir Keir said the UK was prepared to contribute to security guarantees to Ukraine by putting its own troops on the ground if necessary. UK troops could be deployed alongside soldiers from other European nations alongside the border between Ukrainian-held and Russian-held territory. Benjamin Netanyahu has suggested moving ahead with Donald Trump's plan to clear out Palestinians from Gaza as Israel received a previously blocked shipment of heavy bombs. President Trump's proposal to transfer the Palestinian population out of Gaza and redevelop it under U.S. ownership has been criticized by Palestinians, human rights groups, regional powers and U.S. allies. But Netanyahu said on Sunday it is the only viable plan to enable a different future. The Israeli Prime Minister also denied claims it was ethnic cleansing. He said that any emigration from Gaza should be voluntary, but rights groups and critics warned the plan amounted to coercion, given Israel had raised the enclave. Back home in Nigeria, the Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke on Sunday raised the alarm that the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Gboyega Oyetola, is planning to cause mayhem in the state from today, Monday, February 17, 2025. Governor Adeleke made the allegation during a press conference on Sunday. VP News gathered that Oyetola is reportedly spearheading moves to enforce a court order which reversed the sack of local council chairmen elected on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the state. Governor Adeleke also alleged that Oyetola is conspiring with several law enforcement agents, including the State Commissioner of Police and the State Director of the Department of State Services, DSS, to destabilize the state. Let's take a listen to Governor Ademola Adeleke speaking on this issue.
On good authority that Mr. Gboyega Oyetola has instructed the Osun State Commissioner of Police, the State Director of DSS, and the State Commander of Civil Defense Corps to mobilize security operative from within Osun State, effect the non-existing judgment by forcefully taking over the local government on Monday. Mr. Oyetola and the police boss have been holding a series of meetings on how to effect the illegal operations. We affirm that Mr. Gboyega Oyetola has no constitutional authority to issue directive to the security agencies. The fact that Mr. Oyetola is nephew of Mr. President does not confer any such authority on him. We see this as a gross betrayal of trust reposed in the Osun State security officers by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I want to state that the current nefarious activities of Mr. Oyetola and bosses of Osun Security Agency constitute great incitement. By instructing the Inspector General of Police, the Director General of DSS, the Commandant General of Civil Defense, Corps not to obey an illegal order from his nephew, Mr. Gboyega Oyetola.
You're still listening to the World News at 12, right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode today described Binance executive Tigran Gambaryan as a conduit used by the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, to fund Boko Haram. Fani-Kayode described Gambaryan as a terrorism enabler and an economic saboteur. He dismissed Gambaryan's allegations against Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, of demanding funds for his political ambition. Gambaryan had also accused some lawmakers of demanding a $150 million bribe. These allegations have since been dismissed by the lawmakers and the Nigerian government. However, Fani-Kayode said Gambaryan should prepare for divine retribution. Now, on the issue of the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, funding Boko Haram, let's take an excerpt from an interview with Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, Nigeria's former Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Boko Haram Committee 2 plus 2 at times has to be equal to 4. So even if I can't give you 4, but I can give you 2 plus 2, we would then have to come to the conclusion that I'm giving you 4. I served on that committee, and villagers kept telling us that in the middle of the night, helicopters piloted by white people kept landing and offloading guns, goods, and all kinds of and money to these people. Now, villagers they don't even know who these white people are, and they have no reason to lie to us. Now, we made a mistake. When I said some of us on the Boko Haram committee made a mistake, we thought it was the French that were doing this. Now we have an American congressman said, no, it was the Americans who were doing this.
That was the voice of Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, who is Nigeria's former Minister of Foreign Affairs. In a recent development, Osun State Governor Francis Nwifuru has called on the Nigerian army to strengthen its strategies to end the sit-at-home order in the southeast following his cash and car gifts to military officers. He made the call on Saturday when the new general officer commanding 82 Division, Oluyemi Olatoye, paid him a courtesy visit. Governor Nwifuru also urged security agencies to introduce a reward system to boost the morale of officers and men in their efforts to tackle insecurity in the region and beyond. He said, and I quote, "I am sure you are familiar with the Southeast geopolitical environment. God has been with us alongside the good military officers deployed to our state. We will continue to support you and have confidence in those serving here. We have shown our support by giving cash and even car gifts to some officers. You must intensify efforts to end the sit-at-home orders often declared by non-state actors in the Southeast region," end quote. Mr. Olatoye commended the governor for his support to the military and assured him of continued collaboration to maintain law and order in the state. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo has vowed to petition the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over alleged financial mismanagement during the administration of his predecessor, Godwin Obaseki. A report by an administrative panel of inquiry claimed that 96 billion naira was misappropriated during Obaseki's tenure. The findings were disclosed in a statement issued on Sunday by his chief press secretary, Fred Itwa. The panel, which was constituted on December 18, 2024, investigated the financial dealings of the 18 impeached local government chairmen from September 4, 2023 to November 2024. The report indicted not only the former chairman, but also alleged that prominent figures within the factional People's Democratic Party, PDP, were complicit in the misappropriation of funds. Meanwhile, in order to promote intra-African trade and empower small and medium-scale businesses, an African e-commerce platform, Storefront Africa, has unveiled Comrade Chinedu Ukatu, the President General of the Ndigwamaka Progressives Market Association, NPMA, as her national brand ambassador. The unveiling ceremony, which took place in Festac, Amuwo, the local government area of Lagos. Speaking on the significance of the event, the Chief Executive Officer of Storefront Africa, Mrs. Linda Okore, said the appointment of Comrade Ukatu will go a long way in amplifying Storefront Africa's efforts in providing digital solutions to empower businesses and foster cross-border commerce within Africa. She stressed that the organization was thrilled to have Comrade Chinedu Ukatu join as an ambassador due to his commitment to economic empowerment and digital innovation, aligning with a mission to bridge the trade gap and create new opportunities for African entrepreneurs of their businesses. Let's take a listen to the CEO, Ms. Linda.
In today's digital economy, the businesses in the open market have been just focused on selling to their vicinity, and technology should be inclusive. So what we are doing is promoting digital inclusion, especially for these businesses in the open market. The fantastic thing about the platform is that it does the word inclusive. It's centered here. Even though you are in the rural areas and even though you don't have a smartphone, as long as you're a trader, you would be able to adapt this platform.
In her presentation, the director of Storefront Africa Sales, Mrs. Sarah Andino, emphasized the strategic importance of Ukatu's role in reaching traders across Nigeria. As a well-respected trade advocate and business leader with a track record of championing African entrepreneurship, they said he will amplify Storefront Africa's efforts in providing digital solutions to empower businesses and foster cross-border commerce within Africa. In his acceptance speech, the newly appointed ambassador, Comrade Chinedu Ukatu, urged Storefront Africa to uphold its reputation for integrity and urged businesses to integrate technology into trade in order to boost sales and efficiency, enabling traders to serve a large customer base. The event had in attendance Senior Special Assistant to Anambra State Governor Dr. Barrister Leo Chibuka, business tycoons Eze Ndigbos, members of Ndigbo Amaka market leaders, and many others.
What I've come here to do is to tell you that there is a way you can extend or triple what you are already doing. Today, in the world, the establishment that has the highest number of accommodations in the world is not the hotels, it's a tech platform called Airbnb that has brought people, those who are hotelers or non-hotelers, together on a platform to be able to extend and have the highest number of rooms in the world.
As the brand ambassador, I'm to expand the brand visibility of every businessman in Nigeria and Africa. You know, to develop SME and make sure we expand our business. That is the simple import of the whole.
You're currently listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll now head into the news analysis segment. I have veteran journalists as well as political, social, international affairs analyst right here, Mr. Chukwuma Okoro. Always a pleasure to have you. Good afternoon and thank you for coming.
Good afternoon, Chairman. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Mr. Chukwuma Okoro, I know you listened to me while I was taking the different issues in the news, different news stories rather today. But guess what? There is a breaking development. DSS has sealed the Lagos Assembly Speaker and the deputies' officers. Security personnel from the Department of State Services, DSS, and the Nigerian police have forcefully entered the Lagos State House of Assembly in the early hours of today, effectively sealing the offices of Speaker Mojisola Miranda, her deputy, and the clerk of the Assembly. Reports obtained this morning revealed that by 10 a.m., armed guards had established control over the premises located in Alausa, Ikeja, conducting thorough checks on all individuals passing by. Now, according to the Vanguard, the Speaker, last part, Mojisola Miranda, arrived with her convoy at approximately 11:15 a.m. Now, the former Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa, who is currently facing legal challenges, has initiated a lawsuit against the state lawmakers contesting his removal from the position. Reports indicate that Obasa has submitted a motion to the Ikeja Division of the State High Court, where he's also requesting an expedited hearing of his case. On Saturday, Obasa took the Lagos State House of Assembly to court, saying that he was removed unjustly and unlawfully while he was not around. Now, here is the latest development. Many Nigerians and indeed Lagosians believe that this issue had been sorted out, especially with the way the GAC waded in. But what is really going on at this moment? On whose orders was the State Assembly sealed? Can we say the president's own crown state is in a conflict? Is something happening within the APC or within the Lagos State House of Assembly that Nigerians do not know about? Really, is the president aware of this?
Well, Jama, I don't speak for I'm not with the president. I have not spoken to him this morning, so I cannot for sure tell you whether he's behind it or not. I can only hazard guesses, you know, more like make guess estimates. Like, I'm happy that this thing is playing out. Jama, if you have followed me on this matter, on this topic on TV, you will understand clearly my position, and my position is exactly what is happening. You know, when they impeached Obasa and Obasa came into Nigeria, the first lady said, look, I was the one that shielded him from being arrested by the EFCC, by the anti-graft agency. He didn't attend the meeting that the president held with the other faction of the House of Assembly. He was in Abuja. He didn't attend that meeting. And when he came back, he said, look, I was not impeached. You cannot impeach me. I was only removed. And in any case, you don't even have power to remove me. He was able to trick them, got into his apartment. And
you believe that's what happened? Because even after addressing his supporters, he relatively went quiet.
No,
up until now that we're hearing about the lawsuit.
He was planning. He didn't go
you
quiet.
Believe he was planning and playing a game and just he wants everybody to think everything is all right before making his own move.
I have always told people, if you see the action and reaction of the president and the first lady, you will understand that this young man, Obasa, Mudashiru Obasa, has the capacity to cause damage to Lagos APC. And so that is why the president and his wife are very clear in trying to handle this matter. They want to rein him in.
You believe the president and the first lady are trying to shield Obasa
Choma,
from
I'm not believing. I am telling you what is going on.
They are trying to shield Obasa from prosecution because of the power he has in Lagos State APC.
Choma, let's leave prosecution away from it. I am telling you that the president and his wife recognize clearly that Obasa has the capacity to cause damage to APC. So that is why they are handling him with care, so that he doesn't torpedo whatever hegemony that the president has on Lagos politics.
Is that the reason why no one is talking about the misappropriation of funds?
Choma, the misappropriation of funds, how do you establish it? How do you establish it? Has anybody gone to court? Has anybody taken him to EFCC? Is there a petition before the EFCC? Choma, the assembly that impeached him, did they conduct an investigation before even saying, look, we have impeached you? Choma, the process of impeaching a speaker is that you set up a panel of investigation made up of members of the House of Assembly. If you do that, you invite a person, you give him opportunity of first hearing, let him free hearing. You hear him, he will defend himself. Did all of that happen? It didn't happen. And the president faulted it. He said, look, this was more like a coup, and you have to reverse it. Didn't they write apology to this president and to GAC? And you said that GAC wedded in. GAC didn't wed in. GAC was divided. Some for and some against. People like Obanikoro were clearly against him coming back as speaker. Now he went to court. So on whose order is DSS sealing the office of Miranda?
That is really the question. On whose orders are the DSS sealing the Lagos speaker?
So that is to tell you,
deputy and her clerk.
That is to tell you that powers beyond the governor, powers beyond the CP, powers beyond the state director of DSS are the ones behind it. And which power is this? The president has said, return him. Have they returned him?
You know that Obasa has taken Lagos House of Assembly to court, right? And he wants an expedited action. He's telling the court, look, tell them to prepare their defenses and come within 3 to 7 days. Let's just handle this issue right away. But even if he's written to the court that the case be expedited, does it warrant the involvement of the DSS? Why now?
Choma, that is the question we are asking. We are trying to hazard.
What is the security threat that the DSS is trying to stop?
We are trying to hazard a guess. Nobody for now knows who sent the DSS to go and do that.
What kind of is there security threats that they are trying to stop? Do they have intel that they are setting people who may be coming to Lagos State House Assembly to cause havoc today?
Choma, you are asking me questions that I don't have answer to. This thing just broke now.
Well, you know what? We're just trying to
and I'm telling you, look, I want you to have the meat. I want you to have the meat of this matter. The meat of this matter is that Obasa has the capacity to cause problem in Lagos APC, and that is why whoever that is trying to rein him in, be the president, be in the GAC, they have been very, very careful. The first lady said that much. The first lady said, look, Obasa's constituency, Agege, is very strategic to Lagos politics. And beyond that, he's been speaker for two terms. This is the third time. And he's been in the House of Assembly for more than 10 years. He's a grassroots politician. He's interested in becoming governor of this state. So if they don't handle him, he's going to cause havoc. And that is the havoc that they don't want him to cause. By trying to, President said, look, bring him back, let him resign on his own terms. But it looks like members of the House of Assembly are recalcitrant. So that is why you see all of these things. Choma, on whose account do you think that the office of the speaker will be sealed up? Is it Obasa's account? Does he have that power as a speaker who has been deposed?
Can they really do this without the president's directive or without the president's knowledge? Can the DSS storm Lagos House of Assembly and seal it without the president knowing about it?
Choma, I don't know. I can't answer that question because, like I said, I've not spoken to the president. I don't know. But all we know is that it is a power beyond both Obasa and Miranda himself.
So we can say that Lagos APC is divided over this Obasa.
Choma, Lagos APC is divided. Like I told you, the GAC is divided. Some people like Musili Obanikoro and Senator Adefuye were clearly on the side of the House of Assembly, saying no, Obasa should not come back. He's been removed. He's removed. GAC is clearly divided on this matter, and if they don't care, if they don't handle it with care, this is going to cause problem for Lagos APC. Mind you, PDP, Labour Party, SDP, others are on the wings waiting to see how APC will crash, so that they will mobilize themselves together with a faction that will be likely be taken out by Obasa to cause havoc for APC in Lagos State. That I've been saying, and it's happening.
Now that this has happened, what next? What comes after this? Will we see a situation whereby Miranda is removed and Obasa is coming back? Now that he's taken the case to court, what could be the outcome of such a case? Do you expect the APC to still come together and close ranks and try to give Obasa that soft landing that we read about a few weeks ago?
Jama, I'm not a prophet now. I cannot tell you. We'll see how things pan out. Let's see. The news just broke. Maybe by the time we are done with this news, we'll look into the papers, make calls and see what's going on in Lagos House of
Assembly.
Assembly.
Political analysts that believe that something like this cannot happen without the knowledge, at least the knowledge, even if he didn't give that directive of the president. Maybe
they have a good hunch. I don't have. I don't know where it's coming from, because in some occasions you have also said, look, this is coming from the president, this is coming from the governor. And at a point we discovered that, look, the president wasn't even aware of such things. So I can't place a finger on where it's coming from at this moment. But all we know is that it has happened. So let's see how it pans out.
All right, because of our time, we have other issues to look at this afternoon. But then that is a breaking development. It just happened. So we'll be bringing you much more update on this situation. Now, the Osun State governor has told the military to strengthen its strategies to end the sit-at-home order in the southeast following his cash and car gift to military officers. Now, I want to reiterate what he said, that we have shown our support by giving cash and even car gift to some officers. So you must intensify efforts to end the sit-at-home orders often declared by non-state actors in the southeast region. One might say that Osun State Governor Francis Nwifuru is trying to use other approaches to end the insecurity in the region. But did he just admit to giving a bribe? Did he just admit to inducement?
Well, Chama, that is not bribe if you ask me, because we have also seen the government, provide logistics for military men. It's not out of place. It's not bribery. But I have a problem with the news headline. I read that news and they said that, look, Nwifuru has given cars and cash to soldiers to end
insecurity.
Sit at home. I think there are two stories in one now. The one is that, look, he has given them cars and cash gifts, and probably the other segment of the news is that he asked them to end sit-at-home order. So I don't want to create a nexus between him giving cars and saying, I'm giving you this car so that you end sit-at-home in the south, in Osun State. He could have given them the cars and asked them, well, now that we are supporting you, please help us do this. I don't know if you get my point. I don't want to say that nexus.
So without support, the military will not do what they were deployed to do.
Choma, what is the military supposed to do? How would they end? I was coming to that. How would they end sit-at-home order? Will they go to people's houses and bring them out?
They can fish out those who are actually entrenching these orders and make sure that
nobody's entrenching this order. People willingly sit at home. I was on a show.
Because they are scared of coming out. They are scared of being.
So does he want to cause problem? Does he want to cause problem? Mba tried it in Enugu State. He said, please come out. He used APC to protect his own filling station. Peter Mba, he used APC, armored personnel vehicle, to protect his own filling station. And people said, Governor, how can you ask us to come out on a Monday? You have APC in front of the governor's house, governor's office,
Mr. Government can you really
Choma, let me land. You have APC in your own filling station. Now you ask us to come out. Now people came out that day. They had 4 casualties. 4 people were killed in Oboete Market. Do you use the military to bring... Choma, look, I have a problem with our government. Look at the root cause of the insecurity. Why is it that people are sitting at home? How many times have the governors come together to say, President, release Nnamdi Kanu for us?
So you agree with Governor Nwifuru's
I know, I disagree with him. I disagree with him.
With the approach?
Yes, I disagree with his approach. How would the military end sit-at-home order? How does he intend to do that? I asked you and I asked him, are they going to people's houses to bring them out? Because people are sitting down at home, willingly. I was on a show yesterday. A young man called in from the south. He said, look, nobody is enforcing sit-at-home order. People are willingly sitting at home because they are aggrieved.
People are willingly sitting at home because they feared violence have meted out to them by these non-state actors when they do come out.
Governors have called the people to come out.
How
many times have people come out?
Which
machinery is that? Which machinery is that? Choma, from one end of the southeast to the other, you have 94 military checkpoints. Kidnappings, armed robbery, killings happen in the earshots, within earshots of the military checkpoint. So what guarantee do you have that if people come out on Mondays and you flood the streets with soldiers, that there won't be mayhem? They should get to the root cause of the problem. Why is it that people are sitting at home? And I ask the governors, what do they discuss when they go for their meetings? How many of them have put heads together to say, let's go to the president and ask for the release of this young man? You heard Chukwu Masoludo the other say, look, release of Nnamdi Kanu won't even make tension tall in the South. What is that supposed to mean? Now you are asking soldiers to come and enforce, ask people to come out. What guarantee do you have that if people come out on Mondays that there won't be mayhem? So I clearly disagree with his fault. He should look at the root cause. Why is it that people are sitting at home?
Because of our time, Mr. Okoro, I want to quickly go to Osun State, where Governor Ademola Adeleke has called on the president to urge the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Gboyega Oyetola, to pipe down as he's planning to cause mayhem in the state from today. Would I say, fortunately, we've not seen any new or breaking development on this mayhem actually happening in the state, and we do hope that it doesn't happen. But the governor's actually called a whole press conference to talk about what Gboyega Oyetola is doing in the state, saying he's spearheading moves to enforce a court order, which reversed the sack of local council chairman. And Governor Adeleke said that this is something that happened before he even came into office, and so he doesn't know about it, and no one can blame him for those people being removed. But here is the question: how come the minister has such a power to the extent that he can rattle the governor who is in charge of the state, to the extent that the governor is telling the president to call him to order? And why would the security chiefs actually listen to the minister instead of the governor? Okay,
Chama, I'm happy that you asked this question. When the president made Oyetola the minister of blue economy, I knew that in Osun State that they are going to have problems because, Oyetola was displaced by Adeleke and he did only one term. If Oyetola had done two terms, he wouldn't have to come back. But now he wants to come back. So I knew that we were heading to this, that Osun State will eventually get to this.
So Oyetola is aggrieved, and that's why he's disturbing Adeleke's administration.
And the governor is being proactive by saying, look, this is what is going to happen. Choma, you see, a lot of people don't know. That is the problem with our constitution, even part of the Police Act. Choma, do you know that the Nigerian constitution empowers the minister to give orders to the police in Nigeria? The constitution. I'm not a lawyer, but I know that there's a section of the Nigerian constitution that empowers the minister to call out the police. If the minister feels that the police needs to restore peace or order somewhere, the minister has the powers given by our constitution to call out the police to go and restore order or carry out something in a particular part of this country.
But this is a federal minister, not minister of state not a state minister. This is a federal minister who works for the president. Why would he have the powers to go to Osun State and call on the security agencies to do what he wanted?
Did you listen to what I just said? I just said that my Nigerian constitution, the constitution of our country, empowers the minister to call the police in any part of this country to go and restore order or to carry out an act as deemed effective for the good government of this country by a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That same constitution doesn't give the governor that power, and that is why Adeleke is calling on the president to rein in his nephew. Did you get it clear now? That the minister in our constitution has the powers to do what Oyetola is doing. But that same constitution doesn't empower the governor to do that. Now the governor gives orders to the State Commissioner of Police. The State Commissioner of Police is at discretion to do it, or first of all get reference or get clearance from the IGP. That is one of the lacunas that we have in the constitution, which must be fixed as soon as possible. It happened when I think it was Wike or so that called our policemen to do something in one part of either Abuja or Rivers State. That was when I got to know that, look, the constitution empowers the minister to give directives to the Nigerian police. Meanwhile, the same constitution doesn't give the governor that power. So that is why you see what is happening in Osun State.
So let's say that is what Oyetola seems to be taking advantage of.
Exactly.
The fact that he's the president's nephew and feels the president will not be able to call him to order.
He can. The mere fact that he's already a minister, he has the power.
But what about the security chiefs who are actually listening to what the minister is saying, right? Do they have any question to answer in this?
Choma, I just told you that the constitution said minister can order you.
So they can just come and say, oh, we're acting on the minister's order.
On the minister's order. On the minister's order. So that is how impunity also have become as a people, without considering the implications of carrying out the minister's order. What is it that a certain court sacked local government chairman, and the minister wants them to come back into office. Why should that happen?
Are we seeing the trend of godfatherism in Osun State, whereby Oyetola is saying these are my boys and they just have to remain in office because he was the former governor of the state?
I think, Choma, it has to do with the next Osun elections, where Oyetola wants to be a participant. He wants to come back as governor of Osun State. That's what is playing out.
And complete his second term.
And complete his second term.
So he wants the local government chairman there to be the people he can work with.
Is it to complete his second term? He didn't start a second term, to do a second term.
To do a second term.
Yes, to do a second term. So these boys are his henchmen, the local government chairmen that have been removed. They are his henchmen, grassroots people. So he doesn't want to lose them. But Jackson Adeleke says, look, these people were even removed, even before I became governor. So what is the issue? What's the fuss all about? So that is Nigerian politics for you. Choma, we are going to see more of this in Osun State ahead of the elections.
I hope not, because I'm actually concerned about the people who will be the recipient of who will be at the receiving end of any mayhem or violence that may occur in that state. And I hope that
unfortunately,
they can actually solve their
it is.
issues before then. All right, let's also look at Fani Kayode accusing Binance's Gambarian of... What is funny, Mr. Okoro? There's nothing funny about terrorism, but it seems that in Nigeria we use certain words to the extent that we water them down, and they no longer hold such a heavy connotation like they used to. Because when you hear terrorists, or you hear terrorism, or you hear terrorism funding, what comes to your mind is just how heavy or how hefty these allegations are. It's also just like the word treason. When you charge little kids with that, you almost water down the meaning of the word to the extent that it can be thrown around. It will just lose its source, lose its heavy meaning. So what does Fani Kayode know that other Nigerians don't? Because he took to X to say that one Tigran Gambarian, a foreign national, an executive of Binance, made grave allegations against Nuhu Ribadu, DSS, and some legislators. Take him seriously at your own peril. I know a CIA operative, a terrorism enabler, a fiscal bandit, a criminal leech vampire, and an economic saboteur when I see one. That is a lot of words. You heard what I played about Professor Bolaji Akinyemi, who said that he was part of a Boko Haram committee, and they received report from villagers that certain white men flying helicopters would come in the middle of the night to drop certain things, in the bush for these armed men. Right. And then while I was actually watching that particular clip on a monitor television program, he went ahead to say that they thought that it was the French. What had the French to do with Boko Haram? Why would they want to destabilize Nigeria in that way? What reasons did they have to believe it was the French perpetrating that at that time? What moves, what efforts were made, what investigations were carried out to ensure that whoever it was were being fished out? Who are the Nigerian accomplices? Where are the 400 names that the UAE gave then? So many questions to ask on this issue, Mr. Okoro.
Yes, Choma, so many questions. Let me start with FFK, and I'm surprised that he's coming to tell us this. Why didn't he squeal before the USAID revelation? Why didn't he tell us? Did he know this much? That Gambarian was the one that was using Binance to fund terrorism. And Choma, when you talk about terrorism being made light of, I'm not sure it is in Nigeria that terrorism is being made light of, because serious countries take terrorism seriously. Serious countries take terrorism seriously, unlike what you have here. These revelations are coming out that, look, America has been part of the people, sponsoring Boko Haram. But let me stay with Femi Fani Kayode. Femi belongs to what I call the fringe media. It's either he's looking for something or something is looking for him. It's more like a distraction. He's always distracting people, because, Choma, we are not going to shy away from the fact that Gambrian made allegations that House members, 3 of them, including one from my own state, Ginger Onwusibe, were asking for $150 million, so that they could shield him. That is a revelation that is quite telling. And EFCC, anti-graft agencies, ICPC, should look into that. Now, Choma, you ask about France. France has been a destabilizing force in Africa, especially in the Sahel, even before they were kicked out by Mali, Burkina Faso, and where again? Niger. France has been a destabilizing force. But unfortunately for us Africans, we've not been able to see these things. And when we see them, we have our internal problems, internal wranglings that don't even let us see that the outsider is our enemy. Goodluck Jonathan said as much as what we are knowing now about how Obama, prevented him from coming back to office. Obama was very active. Obama was an active asset. Whoever was using him to ensure that Goodluck Jonathan doesn't come back as president. And a lot of people have tried to connect it with the fact that Jonathan didn't assent to the gay bill, the LGBTQ bill and all of that, that America is trying to shove down the throats of many countries. So that is why they wanted to take him out. Now, if you understand the role of the French people in Sahel, it's been a long, long time. There's there's a place called Fashoda. Fashoda is somewhere, anyway, let me not go get into that history because it's long. What I know is that a lot of people don't know, but now it is very clear to them that French has been a destabilizing force in Africa. And unfortunately or fortunately for us, we also know that the role America has been playing, which you said. A lot of people have been saying, look, you said did a very good job. What good job did they do? I mean, Choma, you feed somebody 5 naira and you take away 8 naira from him. Is that a good job? It's not a good job.
Let's talk about the fact that Professor Akinyemi said the villagers reported seeing helicopters coming into the Nigerian airspace and dropping what they do not know, just certain different things. Helicopters flown by white people, right? The anchor on the program asked him, were these white people? How do you know that they were Americans and not French? Or when you thought they were French, how do you find that they were Americans? And he said the villagers could not tell the difference between French or Americans, but that they knew that helicopters were coming in and dropping just different stuff, anything that enables these terrorists, right?
Okay.
Can helicopters come into the Nigerian airspace without the authorities knowing about it, coming and leaving just like that? And that's why I asked the question, who are the Nigerians shielding these people? In fact, he talked about how troops would want to engage terrorists and they will receive orders from the high command not to engage them, to stand down and let the terrorists cause their havoc.
Choma, don't you see a connection between what Professor Bolaji Akinyemi said and the revelation just made by Scott Perry that US aid was being used to fund Boko Haram? Don't you see the connection? So you don't need to travel far again to know that, look, these people have been Americans. And if you talk about coming into airspace, these are NGOs. They're coming as NGOs. They leave drugs. They leave DP camps. And in the night, they turn to mercenaries to work for terrorists. It's very clear now. It's very evident. That is what has been happening all this while. So you recall that before even this revelation was made, our Chief of Defense Staff had fingered NGOs. Do you recall? He had fingered NGOs, that NGOs were playing the kind of part that he doesn't understand anymore. Because a revelation.
Please follow our social media handles at VOP90.